Tell me if you recognize the situation. You have some goals. You have even some planning how to achieve that. But when you start to work on that, suddenly new tasks are just pouring on you. And you are wondering what to do first. And at the end of the day, you may be wondering, okay, did I actually work on the tasks, on the activities that I wanted? Sometimes you realize, or maybe very often you realize, that you spend your day working on things that you actually feel were not the top priority that you should have done. So, if this sounds familiar, you are not alone because prioritization is a common problem, a common challenge for all of us. And actually, the American Psychological Association, in some study, found out that 64% of adults feel that they have too many tasks to accomplish at work. And in some other study, 40% respondents are feeling very stressed at work with excessive workload, being unable to distinguish what is important and what is not important. So, why not we only feel stressed when tasks are pouring on us, we jeopardize our productivity when managing the workload poorly, right? And the famous Pareto principle says that 80% of the outcome is achieved by 20% of our effort or of the activities. So, how to set the right priorities and pick up the right tasks, whether in business or in life? There are many tools and methodologies you may Google, find on YouTube, learn about, and so on. Perhaps your company may have provided you with some trainings about the prioritization. Now, the issue is that they usually emphasize the difference between importance and urgency, some kind of matrix, and they provide you with some sophisticated task management tools using either paper or some application. But they all seem to miss on some important and very fundamental principles. They seem to lack the bigger picture. So in this episode, I will give you 3 easy yet very powerful rules how to prioritize your tasks. And they work for business, for your work, for career, and even for your personal life. And I would say that you probably may expect the first rule, but you likely haven't considered the second one, and I'm quite sure that you haven't heard about the third one. So let's talk about the change.
Change Talks, your passport to exciting changes in your business, career, and life. Change Talks, your podcast when it's time to do things differently.
Hello again, and welcome at the episode about how to prioritize your tasks and work. This episode is actually inspired by a follower on TikTok, because on TikTok and other social media I posted some short video with these 3 rules, and one follower commented that he would like to see some more details behind these 3 rules and examples. So I said, okay, actually that's a good, cool idea. So here we are with this user-inspired episode of Change Talks podcast. Now, we will approach the theme of the prioritization from quite an unusual angle, because I will not talk about methodology, not about tools, but about common sense, which is always interesting because we tend to lose that in the rush of the day. I will talk about 3 rules that are paramount, and if you ignore them, no sophisticated methodology, no tools, no applications will actually help you. So the rule number 1 is mission compliance. Always make sure that you work on tasks, on activities that are in line with your overall mission, with the objective, with the goal that you set in front of you. That can be goal of the project. That can be your own business objectives, like building new company, acquiring new customers, reaching beyond that 100K revenue mark. That can be also the career objective, to become an executive officer, switch the careers, to be recognized as some online marketing expert, whatever it is. And it applies also for your personal life objectives, something like moving to other country, building the six-pack before the summer kicks in. Whatever it is, you need to be tough and merciless when it comes to pruning, to prioritization. And even though it sounds very obvious, right, it's very difficult and it's tough to do in real life situations, in real life scenarios. Why is that? It's because of distractions. And distractions come in many ways and in many forms. The first one is actually that we are overwhelmed with newcomers. These are the tasks or ideas that pop up, or somebody comes with them and they distract us from the job that we have in front of us. In work, your boss may come or colleagues approach you and have some new requests what you should do that are important to them, but perhaps not that much important to you, right? So what you should do in this situation is always, I say, okay, pause for a while and try not to map the request to the overall mission or goal that you have in front of you. Is it in compliance or is it not? If it's not, then reject that, push that away. Explain the reason to that person and focus back on your work. Now, what if your boss insists? Okay, so again, try to explain the consequences. So, okay, right now I'm working on this project with this deadline and so on. Now, if you want me to suddenly, to quit that, to pause that and work on this, then, the execution of the project is gonna be postponed and so on. Are you fine with the consequences? And if the boss says, okay, I'm fine with that, okay, why not? It's their responsibility. But you explain that and you have clean shield. The second form that distractions take is that you may lose your mark of the site. When in the midst of the execution, you may just forget what was your objective, what is your mission. And that happens very often because execution of complex tasks that take some time. It takes weeks, months, perhaps even years. And in this span of time, it's quite natural, normal to forget what the hell was the objective, why I started this activity. And again, how to deal with that is always try to keep in your mind or written somewhere what is the ultimate objective, what you want to achieve, what is your goal, and compare these newcomers, all these things, to the bigger picture. And it may actually be a good idea to write it down, to have it somewhere written. What is your objective? For example, what I do, I use a paper notepad, and in the paper notepad I write down my task for each day. But what I do is that at the beginning of every month, I dedicate one page when I put the key tasks, the key priorities for that very month. And when I'm writing down the task for a particular day, I'm always checking to the first month page if what I put on my daily task list is in line with my overall mission, what I will need to achieve in that month. Because before I started this practice, it also happened to me that at the end of the month I realized, okay, actually, I wanted to do this or I wanted to do that in this month, and I completely forgot. I had daily task lists with ticked boxes. Okay, done, 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 done. But none of these, or very few of these, were actually linked to what I thought at the beginning of the month should have been my objective. So I started to do this kind of exercise, to write it down at the very beginning of the month, and then when putting my daily goals, always check, okay, is it in line? Am I gonna really spend my day working on something that is connected to my mission? Yes, no, if no, just put it aside or postpone it. So that's some idea that you may implement in your practice as well. The third form, how distractions can disrupt your focus, is what I call chasing bright, shiny objects. And it means that, again, when you work on your mission, suddenly you may see something that is very appealing, something that suddenly looks, okay, this is a cool, great idea. So actually, it's distraction by ideas or by offers. For example, you may be scrolling the feed in the Instagram, and suddenly there is some advertisement for online marketing, and you think, actually, that sounds very interesting. That could be cool for my business, and it's a free webinar on sales techniques and so on. So you feel, okay, this is a cool idea, so I should do that. But yet again, you need to understand that what works for some other people, what may be a good idea for other businesses, is not necessarily a good idea for you or right now. So ask yourself a question again. What is what is the top priority? What I need to do now? Do I really need to improve the sales techniques? Do I really need now to work on social media marketing? If you are, for example, in the process of just founding the company and you are doing all the paperwork and you need to be sure on the legal stuff, it's perhaps too early. Yeah? So don't be distracted. And also don't be distracted by someone who says, I earn that much money by doing this kind of online courses, and you suddenly start to have doubts that your idea for online courses is bad and you should jump, on the idea of somebody else. Be consistent. Consistency is the key. Now, you may ask the question, what if my mission changes? Yeah? What if suddenly after 6 months, 12 months, I find out that my mission should be different? How then to prioritize? Now, that's perfectly possible that happens, right? But it should be always a conscious decision. You should say, okay, now I'm changing my priorities. Now I'm starting to work on something different, but I do it because I did some assessment, because I know that I was riding like a dead horse and I need to switch carriages. Also, I think now is a good time to address the elephant in the room, which is, what about those tasks that you just have to do and they are not linked to your mission? Now, the real question is, I think, what are these tasks, and who gave them to you? If it's you, if you are somehow creating these tasks and activities for yourself, these are then usually a result of distraction or confusion. So solution is easy, just drop them. The good thing is actually that you are the only person to persuade to drop them. If it's somebody else who comes with these urgent and must-do things that are not linked to your task, to your mission, as I said, explain, negotiate. At the end of the day, your superiors are in charge of your daily agenda. So if they are fine that you redirect your work and your effort to something else, knowingly, willingly, then then it's fine. Yeah? It happens to me. Happened to me, for example, when I was working on some like large-scale project to introduce some very breakthrough solution for card products, and as the project was approaching the launch date and everything was fine, everything was like okay, we will make it after quite an effort and time. My boss started to have some ideas, okay, how we may actually improve that. And he came with ideas, okay, what if we do this slight, fine-tuning and enhancement here, and what do we do, something like, some small perk here and there. And I knew that if we now start to work on these cool new little ideas, it will actually disrupt and jeopardize the launch date. So I explained to him, okay, yes, these are cool ideas, we may do them, but if we do, these are going to be the consequences. And he realized that. I said, okay, yeah, you are right. The top priority should be really to launch it, and once we have it, we can improve it here or there. So keep going. So the learning here, what you need to understand is to be nice but adamant. Everybody is selfish. Everybody thinks about his or her own agenda at the first place. So when people come to you and they ask you to work on something, it's because it's quite high on their list. It doesn't mean that it's very high on your list, or that it should be very high on your list. So negotiate your time, your activity, right? And corporations are actually quite infested with no-value tasks. Yeah? So if you work in corporation, you may face the situation quite often, quite frequently, because the trouble is that some people have or create really artificial agenda just to look busy. Yeah? And they create a lot of buzz, a lot of noise around that, and force people to work on something that is just useless. Or there are people that solve niche problems that no one really cares about, but again, it's something that keeps them busy or makes them look busy. The third source, of this kind of behavior in corporations is basically inertia. Is that there are some tasks that have been done for ages, so people just continue, rolling the ball for eternity. I'll give you an example. When I was charged in some team in the finance department, we were tasked to prepare on a regular basis some quite sophisticated financial report for marketing review. The marketing review was a call among the marketing guys talking about marketing stuff. But it was in a company that liked to measure and track everything. So they felt, okay, we need to have some sort of report. And my people had to prepare this report, and it took them quite significant effort. But I was quite curious if actually it makes any real sense. So once I attended this marketing call, and I realized that nobody is using this report. It was very boring for marketing people. There were a lot of numbers about unit sold and profitability, all that kind of stuff. But what they talked about was reach of the campaign, how the acquisition, what campaigns they are planning, and how the poster should look like, and so on. Yeah, the marketing stuff. And they were not really interested in any kind of financial data. But they on a regular basis always ask for this report to have it. So I decided one day that we will not do it, that we will just silently ignore it and we will not send the report. And to see what's going to happen. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing. We didn't send the report. 1 month, nothing happened. 2nd month, nothing happened. 3rd month, nothing happened. We just, scratched that completely. And we saved quite tremendous amount of time because we got rid of the activity that was completely useless. Okay, so let's move to the rule number 2. So the rule number 2 is that you should work on tasks, on activities where you control the outcome. Now, what it means? Common sense is that you should work on agenda where you can influence the outcome. You invest your time, you invest your energy, even your money, so you would like to see some result, some outcome, right? No one wants to work very hard night and day and just hope that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, month, some magic's going to happen and that all that you invested will turn into something meaningful. You want to get the return on your investment. And it's not only about how hard you work, right? It's actually about the control that you have about the outcome. So let me explain. Let's say that you have a great idea, great business plan. You want to establish a winter sport resorts in the Alps. So you may build the accommodation facilities and the ski lifts, and you buy the snowmobiles and snow canoes and everything. But the problem is that even if you do everything right, if you have the great accommodation, with very comfy beds and the fastest ski lifts and whatever, it doesn't guarantee that you will succeed because there is one small external factor, which is that you do not control the weather. And if just the winter is too warm, you will have very bad season and you will not succeed. And you will lose a lot of money. Another example, which I came across recently, was this YouTube automation business. In case that you haven't heard about it, the idea is that you will create some faceless YouTube channel, and because you will have the knowledge that you buy from somebody, you'll be able to create videos gaining a lot of traction, a lot of views. And the people that try to sell this, courses or this business case to you, say that they know how to crack and hack, the YouTube algorithm, so that you will just, pay for the video production, you will pay the script writers and for somebody like to create the video, to edit the video, whatever. And at the end of the day, you will have 1 million views and great income from the advertisement. Now, again, you may create great videos, but you do not have control over the YouTube algorithm. And even though you may now have the know-how how to crack it, that doesn't mean that it will work in 2 weeks' time, 1 month's time. Because the guys in YouTube, they are always adjusting, fine-tuning the algorithm. So what works today may not work tomorrow. So do you really want to invest quite substantial amount of money into this kind of business, into this kind of venue, when you do not control how actually YouTube is promoting or posting, showing that content to the users? I'm not quite sure that is a good idea. On the contrary, for example, in some kind of online business, you actually can influence the funnel, because if you have some online shop, for example, you have some solid control over the visitors to your web page. and then how you convert the people once they are on your webpage. You can fine tune that. So you have tools how you can do it. I'm not talking here about 100% control, but about reasonable influence, because there will be always, in any situation, there is some kind of external factor that may happen. Just think back about COVID-19. Okay, that was very unprecedented, sudden shock the economy to a lot of businesses, and it was even unimaginable that something like that would happen, right? So again, it's about having reasonable amount of control, but avoiding things where you have none, when you just need the hope, when you just need the belief. Yeah, you don't want to play a lottery. So if there are some tasks and activities that have very unclear, unpredictable outcome, they should not be very high on your priority list, on your task list. All right? You should put there things when you have good chance to see the success, to turn your hard work into something that works for you. Rule number 3, and this is, as I said, okay, the one that you probably would not expect. It's quite unusual. And it's about working on things when you can see the achievements quite early. This is about, let's say, some sort of mental health or well-being. Because when you work on change projects, on business projects, in your own business, it takes some time to reach your ultimate objective, your ultimate goal. And let's imagine that you should work on something where the outcome is going to materialize in 1 year's time. How motivated, how happy are you gonna be in 2 months' time, 6 months' time? In a situation when you work, and still you do not see anything yet. So I believe that what is good idea is actually to prioritize the task when you that are, of course, in line with the mission, which is the rule number 1, and when you can control the outcome, which is the rule number 2. But task where you can see some outcome very early. So things that will keep you motivated, that you will say, okay, today I did this, I did that, I was able to see some tangible outcome of that, and it makes me feel good. Because it makes me feel good, I have the courage, I have the motivation to continue with the overall project, with the overall mission. It helps you to mitigate, the downs on the change happiness curve. By the way, if you don't know what is change happiness curve, I recommend you another episode of Change Talks podcast when I talk about the change happiness curve and how it affects our emotions when we work on substantial changes, transformation projects, and so on. So back to the rule number 3. Pick the things that you can, when you can see the outcome. It's always good, actually, also for the others. So let's imagine that you are a project manager and you work on some big, large-scale project that is going to deliver a new IT system, whatever it is, in 2 years' time. Now, the organization around you, the people around you, after some time will think, okay, I feel, is it really moving in the right direction? Yes, no, what is going on there? We don't see what is boiling there. It's good to think strategically and plan some, let's say, small achievements that you can show as a proof point that what you work on is heading the right direction and that it's bringing some benefits, some deliveries already now. So whether if it's just for you or for the others, the rule number 3 is about dropping the small crops along the way, right? So these are the 3 rules how to prioritize your activities, your tasks, whether it's in business or in life. And actually, if you really think about it, you may apply it in a more broader sense. You may apply it not only to tasks, you may also apply it to the people, because sometimes it's also people whom you need to prioritize if they are compliant or if they are non-compliant with your overall mission. Or it could be some leisure activities. For example, a couple of years ago, I was playing golf because golf was the thing to do in the social circle. I was in those days, it was driven by my job. A lot of business interactions actually happened at the golf course. So I spent my afternoons and evenings, a couple of days in a week, to going to the driving range to practice, to rent the balls, just to play them and to be recollected, washed and rented again. And one day I realized that this is actually not what is in line with how I want to spend my time, what is in line with my overall mission, my objectives in life and so on. So I decided to quit golfing. I'm probably still too young for that, so maybe one day I will return to that. But you need to think about pruning your agenda not only when you are in the office. Think about pruning your agenda, your life, your activities, your hobbies in your whole life through the whole day. So to wrap up, 3 rules. As I said, the one that you probably expected is to make sure that you work on things that are in line with your mission. It requires courage. It requires consistency. Rule number 2 is that you should work on things where you have, let's say, solid control over the outcome, and avoid working on things where you just need to hope for some magic to happen. And rule number 3 is do something also for you, for your well-being, and choose the tasks or activities when you will be able to see at least some small victories along the way before you reach the ultimate goal, the ultimate objective. So thank you for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, if you like Change Talks, please follow, please give the show 5-star rating, because that actually cranks the algorithm and helps to get this content to other people just like you who may benefit from the information and from the knowledge. So have a good day. Make the change work. Bye-bye.